Hello everyone, welcome back to Into Sports. I'm your host Evan. Today I'm talking about Damian Lillard, but before I do, please click that subscribe button. 94% of you are not subscribed, so, do me a favor and click subscribe. But anyways, Chris Haynes is reporting, and he's a guy with a very good connection to Damian Lillard, so I value this report, that coaching process and inability to build a title contending roster may push Damian Lillard out of Portland. Now, the coaching part of that, Lillard is being criticized on social media by fans because the Trailblazers hired Chauncey Billups, who had sexual assault allegations from 1997 that were settled. So, many fans don't want a coach with such allegations. And then the roster part of that, Portland was eliminated by Denver in round one of the playoffs. Denver in the second round got swept by Phoenix. So Portland is not even close to championship contention, which obviously is what Damian Lillard wants. So it's officially time for Damian Lillard to request a trade and move on from the Portland Trailblazers, because Damian Lillard has paid his dues and then some in the NBA. He's played 9 seasons for Portland. Now, the way the NBA works, you sign a rookie deal, that's 4 years. Then you become a restricted free agent, which means you're a free agent, but the team that you're currently on can match whatever contract you sign and keep you. So you're really stuck to the team that drafted you for 6 years. Now, a guy like Zion, who's only played 85 games in a Pelicans uniform, when his family's saying that, we'd rather have Zion play elsewhere, now that's cutting the line. You gotta give me more than 85 games. But 9 years? Oh, that's plenty. Damian Lillard has paid his dues in Portland. But now it's time to go win a championship, because Portland has not surrounded Lillard with sufficient talent. This is a guy that's giving you 25 a game in his 9 career years and 26 game in the playoffs. 20 a game in the playoffs. Yet, he hasn't won a conference finals game. That's on the organization. Do not blame Damian Lillard for that. You look at a guy like Devin Booker. He was criticized first 4 or 5 years in the league because Phoenix didn't make the playoffs with him. Well, look what happens when you actually put a legitimate team around Devin Booker. Oh, they're going to win the NBA championship, and he's a superstar. So blame the organization, not the player, in that situation. And this is different than an Anthony Davis situation. Anthony Davis didn't want to be in New Orleans. He wanted to be in LA. Damian Lillard is as loyal as they get. He really wants to be in Portland. But the team just isn't good enough because he wants to win a championship. I can guarantee you that's his primary goal. And right now he can't do that in Portland. So he needs to go elsewhere. If the team was better, if they were a legitimate conference finals team, then I guarantee you there would be no trade rumors. Because he needs to win while he can. He's 30 years old. I think he has 4 to 5 really, really good years left. So he needs to capitalize on that window because it's closing. So he needs to go on a team that can win the championship in the next 4 to 5 years. He can't keep staying in Portland, dropping 55 points in a game 5 and losing the game. He has no room for that. He only has 4 or 5 years left. He can't waste his time dropping 55 in a playoff game and losing. He's doing everything and then some in Portland right now, but it's still not enough. That's when you know it's time to move on, because Portland has no flexibility with the roster. Really, I don't see ways they can become a championship contender in the next 2-3 years. I think best case for them next few years is really a second round exit. It's time to go if you're Damian Lillard. So the best destination to go to? Well, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. Trading Lillard to Philadelphia for Simmons and draft picks would be a win-win-win-win trade. Yes, that's 4 wins. If you're Portland, you get to reload and not totally rebuild. You get to reset the clock with young talent. Because I don't see them getting a better young player than Ben Simmons in a deal for Damian Lillard. I just don't see those guys floating on trees. Now, Philadelphia, you get the closer you so desperately need. Ben Simmons can't even be on the court late in games. Damian Lillard is the best closer in basketball. Problem fixed. Philadelphia with Lillard would become a top 2 team in the NBA, right here neck and neck with the Brooklyn Nets. So their championship window, Philadelphia, would go from open to wide open if they acquired Damian Lillard. Now it's a win for Ben Simmons as well, because he's been under a microscope in Philadelphia. But he gets to escape the pressure, develop his game, and build confidence. Philadelphia, that's a tough city to play in. It's a pressure cooker. Portland, there won't be that same microscope. And if Ben Simmons were in Portland, the team would finally be built around him. The 76ers are built around Joel Embiid, and he's not a good match with Ben Simmons. They both need to be in the paint. You can't really have 2 guys in the paint at once. Joel Embiid likes to play slow. Ben Simmons likes to play in transition. It's just not a good fit. So he'd finally be on a team where he's really the number 1 guy, and it's a much better fit. And for Damian Lillard, it's a massive win because he would finally be on a top-tier title contender. And it wouldn't really be a super team. Damian Lillard has said he doesn't want to be on a super team. If he were to go to the Lakers, per se, well, that would be a super team. You got 3 top 10 players. Philadelphia is just a really good team with 2 stars and a lot of nice depth. But they'd still be contenders, so it's the perfect fit for Lillard. Now, you might say, well, Ben Simmons isn't enough to get Damian Lillard. But Lillard wants to go to a contender, obviously. That's my assumption. And what contender has a better young player to give up for Damian Lillard than Ben Simmons? I don't see that. Now you could say Boston could give up Jaylen Brown, and I see that. But Ben Simmons is a guy that's made 3 All-Star teams in a row. He was 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So I think the Celtics are interesting, but I don't think it's as much of a win-win trade as Philadelphia would be. That's the best destination for Lillard. Los Angeles, I don't see them having the assets needed to get Lillard unless they are willing to part ways with LeBron or Anthony Davis, but I don't see that happening. And the Knicks, they would not be good enough to be an intriguing destination for Lillard. So I think it's time for Damian Lillard to say, thank you, Portland, but hello, Philadelphia, because he has paid his dues and then some, and his window to win a championship, it's closing. So it's time to bring home some hardware somewhere else. He has to escape Portland to do that.